Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of CampusCare EdTalks. EdTalks is a platform where educators and leaders come on board and express their viewpoints related to education and society. Our topic for the day is how can communication between parents and teachers improve? And to express her viewpoints on the same, we have with us Dr. Shruti Gupta, Director, Founder, and Principal of Brilliant Public School, Bilaspur. A very warm welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Mehak and Entab, for putting us through on this wonderful topic.
How are you doing, ma'am? It's so good to have you here.
It is indeed my pleasure too. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So, shall we begin with the session now?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, ma'am, firstly, why is there a need for, a better communication? Why are we talking about this thing that why do you feel that there is a need for a better communication between the parents and a teacher?
So certainly when we talk about school and school systems, the trio stands with the teacher, the parent and the child. So both the two, teacher and the parent, they want the best for the child. So of course, without a communication between these two people, the teacher and the parent, we are not going anywhere for the academic wonder of the child. So it is very important and a very crucial note wherein without communication, a school is like unimaginable without this communication. It's highly crucial, and it is the reason how and why we expect a very fruitful parent and school community connect possible. Yeah, so this is really important.
Absolutely, ma'am. There is a need. You just explained.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
There has to be a sense of trust also between the two, and only communication can bring it.
Yes, ma'am. Communication is the key, right? Yeah. So how will it help the students? Why, for example, if you say there is a need for a better communication between the parents and the teacher, so when that is done, how will it help the student? How exactly will it help the students, ma'am?
So my belief system is like I just mentioned, student is the only reason why these two people are coming in together in this scenario. So the teacher and the parent would put in together all possible efforts to ensure that the student life improves. So what happens is basically we are talking about 6 to 8 hours of education in the school, and all the other time the child is at home. So when these two people, the parent and the teacher, come along together, we are able to understand as a teacher, as a school, we are able to understand what the child is doing, so what the child is like at home. So there are many cases. I would just elicit one or two cases wherein the child at home was very different and pretty much vocal, but at school used to get really silent. So this was in one of the cases that came out. Then there were a few other cases wherein we came to know that the child is not that much academically inclined, but is a very, very good cricket player. So at the end of the day, when these two, case one and case two, the teacher was completely unknown of this paradigm of the child. So when the teacher came to know about this paradigm, so she was able to understand and go ahead with breaking down the barrier between the teacher and the taught by actually talking to the child. So it's like it improves attendance, it improves the attention of the child, the attention span improves. We are able to ensure that there are concrete changes that can be planned in the student learning. There are wondrous methods in which, if at all the teacher and the parent really come along together, there have been episodes of a very steep and stark change in the behavior of the child. So it is very, very crucial that we go ahead with communicating with the parents. It helps the school environment and the child a lot. Academic improvisation is possible. I mean, I have seen children often going ahead with this particular homework has been given to us or project has been given to us, and we need to go to n number of places to achieve this kind of project deadline. But if at all the teacher and the parent is well in communication, then the parent comes to know that, okay, this project would need this much of digital intervention or this much of peer intervention. and then accordingly they can check out onto the child that what is needed in terms of any rendering or any help. So this is an important and a very, very crucial node for the communication with the parent and the student. Yes.
Absolutely, ma'am. That was a really brief explain by you. Thank you so much, ma'am. So moving forward, what as an educator or as a teacher, you do in short for a better communication from parent side or from the student side.
Yeah, so we do expect a great communication, but I think the onus lies onto the teacher. So the teacher has to be really the crux of all the wisdom, and she needs to make sure that she takes up all those, she or he, the teacher, they need to make sure that they take up the complete understanding of what has to be discussed. So there has to be a lot of classroom learning activities that need to be discussed continuously with the parents. The parents really need to know what are the child's accomplishments in the school. So that helps the parent to have a very positive note with the teacher. It is also very, very important and crucial that the parents, they go ahead with helping the child at home on the basis of what can be done by the parents. So it is important that the teacher keeps on giving a feedback on this. We have experimented a lot with SLCs, which is student led conferences. We have experienced that during these conferences, when the child goes ahead with communicating about his or her academic achievement to the parent, it goes far and on the way of making sure that the child is positive about his or her achievement. There have been occasions of coffee with parents, so that those coffee evenings with parents are really crucial in making sure that there is a informal kind of an interaction with the parents. This has gone in the sense that we are able to understand the unknown dimensions of the child during these kind of interventions. There can be a very, very wondrous child and school partnerships in terms of many competitions that are held together with parents. So these competitions are just a namesake, but at the end of the day, there is a lot of time of interaction that comes into. So communication in all those kind of methods gets into the run. It's really fruitful when we go ahead with the communicating through NTAB apps. Also, there are lovely platforms in NTAB digitally that can go a long way in making a day-to-day conversation and communication pretty much easy. There can be homework lines, homework, the way we can go ahead with the understanding what the child might be going through. These general phone calls done by the teacher to the parent, and then sudden surprises by the teacher to the parent. Okay, today your child did so well today in this particular subject or in this particular event. So the parent normally doesn't expect those kind of positive note calls, but if at all we as teachers we go ahead with all those things, then there is a tone set for a very good positive communication between the two. And at the end of the day, I have seen that these kind of personal contacts have built in a lot of understanding amidst the school and the parent community. So yeah, this is very, very important.
Absolutely, ma'am. The educators can begin with the feedback thing only. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It is basically feed forward. I see it that way, Mehak.
Exactly, ma'am. So,
Yeah.
lastly, ma'am, what do teachers expect from a parent in that case when they are trying so hard to communicate with the parents for students for a better communication? So, what do you as an educator expect from a parent in that case?
As an educator, I think we have seen, we are lucky enough to get a number of those kind of parents. It's very important that the parent, when they enter into the school system for a PTM or any such kind of coffee meets or any such kind of communications, they need to come up very with all possible trust. So when they come up with that trust, and when they come up with that sense of camaraderie, when they come up with that sense of ownership, then in that case it's a wondrous discussion happening.
Yeah.
So it is very crucial that this parent comes up with all those kind of thoughts. Then it is secondly important that when they come, they must come with certain work already done with understanding the student, right? So sometimes parents are completely dismayed and have no idea as to what the child might be facing or doing, and they completely feel that it is the school who has to take the complete onus just because they have sort of put the child into that admission. So researchers have shown, and very clearly there have been a lot of discussions being done over various platforms where it is a very clear finding that the parent and an active parent in a school with a teacher has given lovely and great children all around. So it's established fact. So when the parents come really active and with some work done already with their mindsets,
Yeah.
then in that case we do find a lovely interaction going around, and then it takes the child places, and we have seen those children reaching the zenith. So the teacher is like a candle, of course, lighting up the child. But at the end of the day, if the parent comes along, this journey becomes more beautiful and satisfying, of course.
Absolutely, ma'am. So when we talk about, parents and teachers for a better communication, so how often do you think an educator or a parent, should, uh, I mean, for example, there are PTMs in the school. So how often do you think should that happen?
No, it's not just PTM. I think it is very important to have almost a daily communication, but of course, it's not just possible. So there are many digital methods, or there can be a school almanac, or there can be these diary notices, or circulars, or app notifications that can go regularly. Apart from it, often there has to be a physical meeting or a over the digital segment meeting. So maybe in a fortnight to a month, it is needed that we sit along together. Particularly in the early years, it is very important. In the later years of secondary years, parents normally start feeling that okay, now the child is now all by himself or herself, and now they don't need to go. But I think that is the time when the child really needs a lot of intervention of the parent, because at that time the child is already struggling with the teenage, and at that point of time, if at all they are well understood by their parents, then in that case these kind of meetings, if frequently happening and the parent actively getting involved into it, it gives milestones to the child's development. So I recommend once in a month for sure.
Yeah.
But yes, even better if at all earlier.
Absolutely, ma'am. Thank you so much, Shruti ma'am, for being here. It was, a very wonderful session with you. It was amazing having you here. I hope
Thank
you
you.
you too did enjoy the session.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you so much,
Absolutely.
ma'am, again. And for all the
My
viewers,
pleasure.
yeah, and for all the viewers watching us out, please don't forget to subscribe to us for more stuff like this. Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.